Hello, class. My name is Joseph Stallone, and my New York Times article is titled Sports Psychology It Isn't Just a Game Clues to Avid Rooting. The author was James C. McKinley Jr. and was published on August 11th, 2000. The article was published in 2000, but it still had a lot of relevance to today. As everyone knows, the Miami Heat won the World Championship in the NBA this summer. As living in South Florida for a lot of my life, I was an avid watcher. The article goes on to discuss the physiological arousals that we experience when rooting for our favorite sports teams. And it was very relevant to me because as I watched my favorite team, the Miami Heat, make their way to the World Championships this summer, I experienced some of the physical arousals that the author conveyed in this article. The point of the article was that the author wanted to tell us that when people root for their favorite sports teams, it isn't because we just enjoy sports. It's because we find a sense of belonging, and our physiological arousals and our emotions go haywire when watching our favorite sports teams. He used examples such as in prehistoric times when humans used to watch other humans fight, and when wars would go on, we would experience the same type of physiological arousals as rooting for our favorite sports teams in this day and age. It's almost like our instinct to root for a team because we find a sense of being and our inner, almost our inner animal that we find when rooting for our favorite sports team. Many studies were done, as the author talks about in the article, that the physiological arousal of humans when rooting for their sports teams runs haywire, such as their heartbeat, their perspiration, their brain waves, which relates majorly to this class. And as I was reading this article, I was very intrigued because I felt the same types of emotions when I was watching my favorite sports team. I would start to sweat more when my team was losing. I would find an increased heartbeat and a sense of nervousness in my body. And it's very interesting to see how something that doesn't even directly relate to us physically, we're not the actual ones playing on the sports field, but we almost feel as if we are. Um, the article, the author also goes on to discuss other reasons that we like to be avid rooters for our favorite sports teams, such as a boost in self-esteem and a sense of belonging to a group and a sense of feeling good about ourselves when our team wins. And also, he talks about when our team loses, how we don't directly blame our team for the losses. We'll usually blame the officiating or the weather or some other external factor as to why our team loses. But all in all, it was a very interesting article, and I would recommend that anybody go into further researching about this. While I'm sure there is many articles on sports psychology that you can go and learn about more aspects of the physiological and psychological arousals that we get when we watch our favorite sports teams. Um, the the relevance to the class was very significant because it it showed how in even minor aspects of life, such as rooting for a sports team, that our physiological makeup is at work at all times, and certain things date back to prehistoric times that are still relevant today in our society that we replace with more modern day themes. That was my New York Times article.